Well, the party may finally be ending when it comes to Australian property investors. House prices have been on the up for the past 5 years, swelling the market value of the nation's houses to $5.6 trillion US. We've got Bloomberg's Australia economy editor Chris Burke now joining us to sort of talk a bit more about the implications. You know, this is kind of a huge part of the economy now.
It is. I mean, finally, Australia is leading the world in something. Unfortunately, it happens to be the bloated size of our housing market. So, as you say, it's 4 times the size of our gross domestic product. Why is that? Well, there's been a combination of reasons. Australia has a national obsession with property. That's been fueled along by low interest rates. Banks very eager to lend, especially to investors. And also, it's just part of the national psyche. You know, you have these primetime TV shows on every night which treat renovators like sporting heroes.
And also negative gearing, right, which is pretty unusual.
Yeah, very generous tax breaks. And also, let's not forget that Australia never actually had a recession. We just kept on going, whereas like the housing markets in the US and the UK, they managed to flush out a lot of their kind of dead wood, so to speak. And they had their corrections, but we've just kind of kept on going with maybe slight corrections along the way.
And Chris, is the RBA concerned about this at all? It seems like they think the banks have the buffers to really kind of deal with any kind of downturn. The big question is really when it comes to consumers, right? At a time when household debt is high and wage growth is not strong enough to really service that debt.
Yeah, the RBA is really concerned. I mean, in their typically understated fashion, every time they release a statement now, they mention household debt, and without fail, and that should kind of ring alarm bells, especially coming from the RBA. I mean, as you say, consumers aren't spending; they've got a lot of debt. Retail sales have been pretty grim lately, and that's keeping a lid on inflation. And as Governor Phil Lowe said this week in a speech in Sydney, that interest rates basically aren't going anywhere, precisely for pretty much those reasons.